What's going on, YouTube? Volvo has been killing it lately with all their new crossovers, but now it's time for their most popular sedan to get some love. So we're spending this admittedly very Swedish feeling day here at Quantrell Volvo to check out this beautiful all-new S60 Inscription, finished here in Fusion Red Metallic. Of course, if you're looking for a new Volvo, be sure to stop by their dealership or check out their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with that all said, let's see how good this first American-made Volvo really is. So starting with your exterior styling, this car very much follows the lead of its other Volvo siblings. Up front, you've got the signature soft rectangle grille, finished in 3 different ways for the 3 different trims. Black bars for the Momentum, black checkered mesh for the R design, and the Inscription having these thin chrome bars. Unsurprisingly, as a member of the 60 family, the headlights are exactly the same as the XC60. So what you're looking at are the standard full LED lights, with the Thor's hammer running light that juts out towards the grille. They are made of 4 low beam crystals on the right side and 2 high beams on the left, and you have standard auto high beams. Down at the bottom, all but the base model has LED fog lights, and this lower fascia area does also change between the trims. Moving to the side, the S60 now rides on Volvo's new SPA platform, which has allowed it to pick up nearly rear-wheel drive proportions. The actual length of the vehicle is a little over 187 inches long, which makes it just a touch larger than the A4, 3 Series, or Lexus IS. Around back, you'll see similarities to its big brother S90, but overall it pulls off the look a lot better. The trunk lid is still flat with Volvo badging, but the license plate breaks up the surface area. The LED taillights are also similar to the 90, with the really unique bracket shape that makes it stand out among all the rivals. Finally, down at the bottom, there will always be dual exhaust, circular on the Momentum, but trapezoids on the other 2. So all in all, Volvo has created an excellent looking package, which bears both resemblance to other Volvos, but still conveys both the fun and sporty side of the S60. Adding to the good looks, you do have lots of nice looking wheel options. All 3 of your trims do come standard with different 18-inch alloys. And then each of those trims has an optional 19-inch alloy, like these 5-spoke contrast alloys which we have here. Heading on to the mirrors, all models have standard heating and turn signals. And all but the base model also have auto dimming, power folding, and blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. But besides for the BSM, Volvo does include all of the rest of their safety systems as standard equipment across the board. That includes the likes of automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and a really neat feature called steering support, which can actually steer you around obstacles if it determines the vehicle cannot stop quick enough to avoid the collision. Additionally, Pilot Assist, Volvo's semi-autonomous driving system, is also available optionally. As expected, these features are some of the most advanced in the class, and they're also included on the lower end trims, which the European brands typically skip over. Finally, the last thing we'll look at on the outside is the fuel tank. It is either 14.5 gallons on front wheel drive models, or 15.9 gallons with all-wheel drive. So on our T6 all-wheel drive, it's good for 390 miles of range. Regardless of which engine you choose, premium fuel is expected. But anyways, that covers everything on the outside. So now let's go ahead and see if the interior is as good looking as the outside. So most versions of the S60 do come standard with smart entry, as well as this really nice leather wrap key fob. Now, as you probably know by now, this leather is designed to match with whatever interior color scheme you have, so in this case we have the black leather interior and the black leather key fob. Now additionally, remote start is available via the Volvo On-Call app, and that will be subscription free for 4 years. Now to get inside the vehicle itself, there is a sensor behind the door handle, so all you have to do is grab it. Additionally, we do have power folding mirrors on this model as well. So first, checking out the cabin of the 2019 S60. As you can tell, it bears a lot of resemblance to other Volvo interiors, and that's certainly a good thing. Now for your interior colors and materials, there are an absolute ton. So starting out with your base Momentum, you're going to have leatherette available in charcoal or blonde. Going up to this Inscription gets you real leather or optional full Napa leather. And both of those would be available in charcoal, blonde, maroon, or amber. And then finally, your R-Design models get a special Napa leather seat with grid upholstery inserts. Now turning to your door trim, it is very upscale as expected. So you have a nice leather trim all across the armrest, and then all the rest of the materials are soft touch. The door handle is real aluminum, as is this nice speaker grille. We do have 2-person memory seating on the Inscription and R-Design, and then all 4 of your windows are one-touch automatic. Now checking out the seats here, they are 10-way power adjusting with 4-way lumbar support across all of your trims. And all the trims do also even come with the power thigh extension. Now on the Inscription, there is an optional luxury package which we do not have, but that would include power adjusting side bolsters as well as a massaging function. Now like I was saying earlier, the seats themselves on this specific S60 are real leather. However, you can get a nicer Napa leather if you want as well. And there is Inscription embroidering up here in the headrest. So if you've been in any type of recent Volvo, this interior will be instantly familiar. And that's definitely a good thing in regards to the materials. So across all the upper dash, you usually will have a soft touch plastic. However, here on our Inscription, we have the tailored dashboard, which gives you leather across all of the top. That leather continues down here. And then on this model, we have the linear lime wood. You could also get driftwood on the Inscription, and then lower models will come with different types of trims like a aluminum trim. Moving down here to the middle, you do have more of that really nice open pore wood that goes all through here. And then on the side here, it is just a hard touch plastic. But overall, all the materials in here feel really good, and they look really nice as well. Very modern and classy. Now across all models, you twist this metal knob to start. When you do, you will see the standard 9-inch Sensus display fire up. Now checking out the gauges here, this is your 12.3-inch fully reconfigurable display. It does come standard on R-Design and Inscription, and like I said, it is entirely customizable. You actually make those adjustments over here on the main display, so you can do things like change to your current media, as well as display your map in between the gauges. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, if you choose to get the advanced package, you will also have a head-up display. Of course, this can display a lot more information than just your speed, navigation instructions, and safety systems as well. Now coming back to the steering wheel, it is electric power assisted, and you will find this nice leather wrapped steering wheel across all of the models. Now up here you've got your buttons for your adaptive cruise control, and on this side you've got your phone, voice, and audio controls. Across all of the models you will find standard rain sensing wipers. And as far as the steering wheel itself, it is manually adjusting across all of the trims, and then heating is an available option across all of the trims as well. Alright, now so moving on to storage, the Volvo does very good for itself, especially for a compact sedan. Starting out over here with your center console, you just lift this up. And as you can see, you've got a pretty deep bin. This is at least twice as deep as the Audi A4 I was in just a couple days ago. Inside of here you will find your USB ports as well. The one that is highlighted in white is so you can plug in for your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Up in front of that, you just slide back this lovely piece of wood and to reveal your 2 cup holders, as well as another storage area and a 12-volt outlet. And then this front portion does also open up. It could store your key fob or something else small. Now Volvo did choose to stay with a traditional shifter on most of the models, unless you get the T8 where you have that crystal electronic shifter. So for drive, you just pull back, then you can bump to the left to shift manually right here, though you're only going to have paddle shifters on the R design, not on the Inscription or Momentum. Heading into reverse, you will find a standard backup camera with one of the best resolutions I've ever seen on any vehicle. And we also have the advanced package, which gives us the 360-degree display as well. So as you can see, it basically takes up the whole 9 inches, so that's really impressive and really helpful, you know, in any type of parking maneuver. Now I'm not sure how to get back to it, but you do also have an auto park function that comes in that advanced package. Now moving back behind the shifter, you have your engine start stop that I just showed you, and then you've also got this really nice metal roller for your drive modes. So you just press down to activate it, and then you've got 3 modes: Eco, Comfort, or Dynamic. And then back another bit, you've got your electronic parking brake and auto brake hold function. But anyways, now that brings us up to our audio system, which is the 13-speaker Harman Kardon sound system on Inscription and R design. Now I couldn't find an optional Bowers & Wilkins sound system referenced anywhere in the press materials. However, with this Harman Kardon sound system, honestly, I doubt you're going to miss it because this is fantastic sounding. Now moving on to your climate controls, as most of you know on Volvos, the controls are exclusively located within the screen. But it's actually really easy to use. All you got to do is just click in like that. You can slide up and down to adjust your temperatures. And then you can click there, and that's where you adjust your zones as well as your rear climate and whatnot. And that brings me to another important point. This car has 4-zone automatic climate control. That is basically unheard of in this class, very rare. You do have dual zone on your base model though. In addition to that, you will find your controls for your 3-stage heated seats that come standard on Inscription and R design, as well as that heated steering wheel that I already mentioned. However, I will say I did not find any reference to ventilated seats in the press materials or build-in price, so it appears they are not available, at least at this time. But anyways, that pretty much brings us to our 9-inch Sensus Connect system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look. Now Volvo's infotainment system continues to be one of the more unique offerings in the class. It has a interesting layout. Basically, you've got these tabs that you click into and they expand out, and you can just switch to your different categories of information. And you do have a home screen down here at the bottom, kind of as if you had an iPad. Now, one thing I do want to mention straight off the bat is this has the upgraded hardware they've been rolling out throughout their whole lineup for 2019. So you've got a lot more power in the back end to help things run a little smoother, as well as boot up faster when you start the car. That had been something that had been a complaint in previous Volvos. But anyways, like I was saying, you click into these tabs to see things. For the map specifically, you can expand it to take up the whole screen, as well as go into a 3-dimensional view. Here's our audio section. As you can see, we've got our Bluetooth, and you can see the entire queue of your music. You can also go to now playing, so you can play and pause as well. As far as your phone connections, all of your contacts do automatically sync over. You can just quickly click into any of these. Now when you swipe over to the right, this brings you to your full list of applications, so you can see things that weren't over there. So you got your travel link apps, you have driving performance applications, different audio sources, and your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which are standard across all models. Swiping over to the left of the home screen, this is your vehicle functions. This is where you can turn on and off various safety systems, as well as your auto start stop. You also have remote controls over the rear headrest, so you have better rear visibility when you're backing up. And you can also adjust the passenger seat by pressing this button and then using the controls on the driver's seat. But this system has just a ton of features. I'm not going to get into all of them here in this video because we do have a really detailed tech help video available if you want to learn more. A link to that video will be in the description. Now moving on up, you do have a standard auto dimming mirror, as well as your 3 HomeLink universal remotes built into the bottom of it. On this model, we do also have a standard panoramic moonroof, so that's a really nice feature for the class. Most of the rivals actually make you pay extra for just a standard size moonroof. I would like to open it up, but there's a bunch of snow piled on the top, so I'm not going to. But anyways, the cabin of the S60 hits it out of the park just like all the recent Volvos have. Like I mentioned in the XC60 review, it really has a lot of striking similarities to the flagship level S90 and XC90 interiors. So it's really nice that Volvo doesn't make you sacrifice anything to get the more affordable vehicle. But anyways, now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will finish up the rest of the review. So coming around to the rear of the 2019 Volvo S60, you're going to find a good amount of space in the back. Its technical rating is 35.2 inches of rear legroom and 37.5 inches of rear headroom. That does put it on par with the Audi A4 and Mercedes C-Class. Now coming over to the door trim, in typical Volvo fashion, it is finished pretty nicely. So we do have a leatherette armrest here with the stitching detail, a fully automatic window, and down below that we do have some storage. Additionally, the seat is very comfortable, and it does also have a really nice design to it. Now here in the center area where your rear amenities are, I'd say the S60 is probably the best in the class. So right here you will notice this little touchscreen, and this is for your climate controls. So the S60 actually has 4-zone climate, so each rear passenger can adjust their temperatures. So it actually looks like the front has us locked up back here, but typically you can adjust your temperatures right here, as well as your fan speeds. Now down below that you do have your rear vents, and it is also worth mentioning that you do have another one over here on the B-pillar. It's very nice for a cold day like today. And above that, we will also find 3-stage heated rear seats, optional on the Inscription and R design. And further below that, we do have a 12-volt outlet. The armrest is nicely designed, and you do have a little storage area, as well as another little bin here, and your cup holders do pop out of the end. Now up top you will notice that the S60 does come standard with a panoramic moonroof, which is a really nice touch for this class of vehicle. You do also have an assist grip, coat hook, and you do have some LED lighting. Now as far as rear space is concerned, like I said, it comes in about middle of the pack, so we do have plenty of space behind rear seating position, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. Now coming over here with the seat scooted all the way back, I still do have plenty of room, probably about 3 to 4 inches. Summed up, I'm extremely impressed by the S60's rear seat.
This is really a wonderful place to spend time, and I was just in the A4 a few days ago, and this matches all of its features and makes it even a little bit better with the 4-zone climate. Now, to fold the S60's rear seat, Volvo does have a really nice setup. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are 2 buttons back here, and when you press it once, it will fold the headrest, and if you press it again, it does fold the seat. So let me show you real quick. Just by grabbing it, you push the button, the headrests fold down, and one more click will fold the rear seats. Now, coming around to the trunk, it is hands-free on our design and inscription, so just wave your foot under the bumper to open it up. So inside the trunk of the S60, you're going to find 15.6 cubic feet of space, which makes it a lot larger than most of the rivals. Now, as you can see, it does go back a long ways, and it is very deep back here. And as you can see, the seats do fold 60-40 split, so you do have a nice pass-through if you need to haul something bigger. And down below the floor, you will find a spare tire, as well as a 12-volt outlet and net back here. Now, I will talk about the pricing here in just a minute. Now, the passenger seat is the same as the driver's, so you do have this really nice design in typical Volvo fashion. And it does also have power adjustment, as well as the power lumbar. And in addition to that, you do also have 2-person memory functions. Now, in front of the passenger, we do have awesome materials. So we have a stitched leather dashboard on the inscription, and it even goes all the way down here. Some more wood trim. And down below that, we do have a good sized glove box that's really nicely felt lined and has LED illumination. Now, up top, we do have a sun visor with an LED light and mirror. It does also detach, and it does not extend. Well, guys, that pretty much sums up all of the rear areas of the S60. So now let's go ahead and discuss the powertrain and see how this all-wheel drive system handles the snow.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about the powertrains. Now, like all recent Volvos, you've got the same 3 different options shared with both the 90 series vehicles and the 60 series vehicles. It's going to be 3 2-liter 4-cylinder engines, but with different degrees of boost. So on your base model, that is going to be your T5 Momentum. That comes with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. And that makes 250 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Your next step up the ladder is your T6. It's paired exclusively to all-wheel drive, and it adds a supercharger to the turbocharged 4-cylinder. And all that together makes 316 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And then finally, you've got your T8, and that adds to your turbo and supercharged 4-cylinder with some electric components. And all that together makes 400 horsepower. And then, interestingly enough, there is another tier. It still is a T8, but if you get the Polestar engineered, changes the configuration just a little bit, gives you 15 more horsepower. So your maximum power in this vehicle is 415 horsepower. Now, as far as your 0 to 60 times, that of course ranges with your engine. On the T5 with front wheel drive, that is 6.3 seconds, and then this model here is 5.3 seconds, and then your T8 goes all the way down to only 4.4 seconds. The transmission is always an 8-speed automatic. And then as far as our fuel economy, we are rated at 28 combined for the T5, and then this T6 is rated at 25 combined. but there aren't currently any ratings for the T8 since it's not on sale yet in the US. But anyways, let's go ahead and take it for a quick drive. So, taking off in the 2019 S60. I have to say, power is really good.
That 316 horsepower really shines in a small vehicle like this.
Yeah, power in this car is excellent. And that's the power of having both your supercharger and turbocharger, is that you don't have to wait for one to spool up. You've got your supercharger, which is available instantly, and then that leads into your turbo taking effect once that is spooled up. So that's why, in case you're wondering, why you have both of them. Alright, so our auto start stop system just engaged here at the stop sign, so let's see how quickly it restarts. Very good. Starts up easily before my foot made it to the gas pedal. That's exactly what you want to see.
It's also very smooth. You definitely couldn't really hear anything either, so very good auto start stop system from Volvo. And it is worth noting, for 2019 Volvos, you can deactivate it in the system. Drew probably touched on that earlier, but that's a nice feature to have if you don't like auto start stop.
Now, talking about your ride and handling, this definitely, Volvo has been talking about this being the sportiest Volvo, and I can definitely tell that it is right off the bat. It has a tightness that wasn't quite present in the XC60 being a crossover, or the S90 being more luxury minded. The chassis feels really buttoned down. It's got a nice firmness to it, but not like overly aggressive. And the steering is very quick responding, has a nice tightness to it as well. I am also noticing our traffic sign recognition system. This vehicle doesn't come equipped with that. It recognizes the sign by reading the sign, not just by navigation linked and stuff like that. And in this particular car, since we have the head-up display, it does also appear right up here. And just cruising along here, I do want to comment on just how comfortable it is. You know, this being, it is the sportiest Volvo that I've driven, but you're definitely not sacrificing comfort. Just cruising along here, this is a pretty bumpy suburban road here. There's really no harsh impacts or anything entering the cabin. It feels really smooth. Of course, I'm just chilling out in the really comfortable Volvo seats.
Oh yes.
You know, they're award-winning. Definitely known to be some of the best in the class, and it is just superbly comfortable. Of course, as I mentioned before we took off, on the T6 you're going to have all-wheel drive, and the T8 as well. Now I'm not going to test it out or anything like that. This road is clear, but it's still reassuring to have that, you know, in these types of situations when there is snow. And you know, there's just something that Volvo is always very comfortable with the snow. Being a Swedish designed vehicle, snow is not something that a Volvo has not seen before. Let's just put it that way. Now this transmission is really smooth. This is Volvo's 8-speed automatic. I think they've done a really good job with it. It seems to have good shift logic. Like I said, it is very smooth, taking off initially and under acceleration. And since, like Mason mentioned, we did just drive the A4 just a few days ago, so that is what's on my mind. So I can supply like a little bit of comparison to that. They're actually kind of similar. They're both front-wheel drive based vehicles, so they do have that in common. And they do drive actually quite similarly as well. This is, like I said, sportier than what you typically find in a Swedish vehicle. It is more German feeling than any other Volvo that I've ever been in.
When you go around a corner, you can just tell, even from the passenger seat, just how planted this car is on the road.
I guess the last thing we can do is see if the dynamic mode changes much of anything.
Wow.
Really, it actually is a pretty nice sounding vehicle as well.
It's definitely very quick.
But overall, I have to say, I'm impressed with the way this is driven. Like I said, it's kind of inherited a bit of a German feel, you know. You would think Volvos, they all ride at this point basically on the same chassis. They've got the same engines, but each one has its own characteristics. And I'm really happy to report that Volvo has given this one the duty of kind of being the sports sedan of the lineup. If you want the ultimate luxury and soft ride, then you can get the S90. But this one here, to me, strikes the best balance as far as having the sporting characteristics, a little bit of a German feel, as well as the typical comfort that Volvo is known for.
Well guys, we've enjoyed watching one of the first in-depth looks at the 2019 Volvo S60 Inscription. Stay watching for a quick overview of the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.